Welcome to The Point of View.
Welcome to Face to Face on Channel 1 Television.
And hello, welcome to What the Papers Are Saying.
This be football made in Ghana. It be the only pidgin show where it day on your screen. Channel 1 TV.
Thank you so much.
Some people are late. You know, they have to catch up. City TV is now Channel 1 TV. You understand?
This is Channel 1 TV, telling your story, empowering change.
You're welcome to the Situation Room on Channel 1 Television. This is a show that gives you the data that is backing the victory of political parties and their candidates in the elections. We'll tell you the historical analysis, the trajectory, and of course, you, based on everything we'll tell you, you are free to do a forecast if you so wish. We've been doing bits by bit. We've done swing regions as blocks. We've done swing constituencies. We have done regions. And we have also looked at voting patterns based on groups and how they operate specifically in regions. The last time I was here with Bernard, we talked about the Greater Accra region, and we decided to compartmentalize the Greater Accra region or segment it and tell you how they vote and which constituencies are the strong ones or strongholds of the MPP, and which ones are the strongholds of the NDC, and which constituencies are in the middle, wishy-washy, they are not really sure, they're always flipping, and which constituencies are what Bernard calls the periphery. So today we are continuing with the Greater Accra region, but we are looking at not a presidential election, but rather the parliamentary election, which MP won where, and which presidential candidate did better than their candidate in which constituency, or which constituency voted skirt and blouse, where skirt and blouse means they vote a presidential candidate and vote a different member of parliament from a different political party. That's the analysis we're going to have today on the Situation Room. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu, and I'm here with Bernard Avle. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll go to the maps.
Get ready.
Every objection against you is hereby dismissed.
For Impact 2024 with the Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, Reverend Dr. Eastwood Anaba, Apostle Joshua Selman, Apostle Isi Igeneba, Bishop Dr.
You're welcome back. So the Greater Accra region has 34 constituencies, and NPP currently has 14 MPs in the Greater Accra region. NDC has taken 20. It's a big flip from what we saw in 2016, because like we said to you in previous editions, Greater Accra region is one of the swing regions that doesn't behave en bloc with the rest of the swing regions. Bernard Avle, you better understand this story.
Yeah. So as you were saying, Greater Accra's swing is every 4 years, as against Central, Western, and Bono, which appear to be every 8 years. So Greater Accra is very temperamental. The question for today is whether the voters here vote the same way for presidential as they do for parliamentary. Before we do that, we need to remind people of the presidential pattern. So for the first few minutes, if you can join me here, to just show the 3 election cycles, how the region voted for presidential.
From 2012.
For 2012, so for 3 election cycles, right? Then we'll go and compare that to parliamentary, and then we'll find out whether there are any differences. So in 2012, a case look at this map tells you that the green is more. So NDC won this region.
Presidential.
Yes, so they had 51%, MPP had 47%. This is presidential, all right? Again, it's very clear that the central part of the region, or moving to the eastern part in
Central
the middle.
West.
Yes, that's where MPP is strong. NDC is very strong to the east. And then in 2012, to the part close to central region. Because in 2012, central region also voted NDC. So if I just added central region to this, it will explain why you have a lot of... So
we are taking note of the border between...
Ewutu Senya West was also an NDC
seat.
Of course, Ewutu Senya East went to MPP, but then we also had NDC win Gomwa East. So you notice that the 3 neighbors for the...
Central region.
Yes. So basically, MPP was just strong in the middle.
Yeah.
NDC was strong out, and NDC was strong here. All right. So let me. But in 2016, so let me remove Central, and then I'll show you something. In 2016, so I'm back to my 2012 situation.
Greater Accra.
2016 Greater Accra. What happened? Just a reminder. A lot of the greens became blue. This is still NDC, but you notice that Bortianor is now MPP. And then Anya and Weija have become stronger for MPP. And all of these tiny constituencies, which used to be light blue, are now deep blue. You still have 2 constituencies here, which still remain NDC. But I noticed that Amasaman, which was a deep green, is now light. The only constituency that survives the blue onslaught is Domi Abra Obom. Okay. So this is the 2016 picture.
So Amasaman was on the way to being blue.
Exactly. Now, when you add 2016 Central Region as well, you can see the continuities, right? So all these guys who were green have all become blue. So there are geographical shifts that compare. So all these guys, a lot of them, apart from Ewutu Senya East, all these guys were green, but they've all become blue. So it tells you that the flow and the change in the mood of the nation was not just a Greater Accra thing. It was Central also followed. Okay. Last thing, in 2020, NDC clawed back, because in 2016, MPP won 21 constituencies, NDC won 13.
Yeah.
In 2020, NDC takes 20 and MPP gets 14. So NDC wins about a net of about +8. Now, so let's do 2020. So you see that even though the map is more blue here, when you come to 2020, some green is regained, all right?
A lot more greens.
But in the western side of the region, there's only one surviving NDC. That's Domi Abra.
So they almost split the region into halves.
Yes. So basically, the western part of the Greater Accra region belongs to MPP. The eastern part generally belongs to NDC for 2020. This is the general picture we have here. So if you look at this map, from the coast down all the way, of course, there are 3 coastal for MPP. But this is now I just wanted to show you why this constituency remains strongly.
So that's Obom Domi Abra.
Obom Domi Abra. And for that, I will show you the Eastern region connection.
And just for people who are now learning our map, we've said that this is not just green, but it's deep green.
Yes,
which
deep
means
green
a comfortable NDC win.
60% or more. Light is 50 to 60% for the party that wins.
Okay.
So if the party that wins is MPP, it's blue.
Okay.
If they get more than 60, it's deep.
It's deep.
Same for NDC for green. So you notice that this is Domiabra. Now you notice that when I add the eastern region, this is Upper West Akim. This is one of the few NDC constituencies in the eastern region. They are neighbors to Domiabra. I told you there was a straight road that connects. So that proves the point. The rest of the neighbors are all MPP, right? So for example, if you go to the north, Ayensuano here, and Nsawam Adrejiri, which on the Insawam road. So my main theory is that on the Insawam road, MPP is strong. So whether it's Trobu here, or you have Amasaman, they've taken over, Anyaso Tum, which is theirs, and now Insawam Adrejiri is there. And then you have a Kwapim South, which takes you to Ebri. Okay. Now,
so on the Medina Road as well as on the...
But the Medina Road is very interesting.
No, I mean beyond the...
That's a very interesting point. The Medina Road, in my view, is contested. Because on the Medina Road...
Where is starting from? From the mall?
Because from the mall, you have Ayawaso West Wuogon, which MPP wins. Then when you get to Medina, NDC wins. When you get to Adentan, NDC wins, but only just. Now, depending on where you are going from Adentan, if you go left, you are going to Ekwapim South, MPP wins. If you go right, you are going to Dodowa, NDC wins. So the theory is that depending on where you are going, the strength. And this is correct because when you take Medina here, on the left of Medina, you have Ekwapim South, MPP still wins. To the right is Adentan, and then there's Bonkatamanso, and then there's Shai Osudoku. But these are the Ekwapim Togo ranges. MPP is very strong.
So the mountain sort of divides.
Exactly. So this was just to prove the point that these regions, even though we have regional boundaries, because people live as neighbors without seeing the line, you will see some outflow.
Spillovers.
Keep an eye on and again, let me go back to this and then make the final point. Last week you said something which was very interesting. You divided the region into about 4
blocks.
You have the strong NDC, which is mostly to the east. You have the strong MPP, which is mostly to the west. Then you have the coastal, which have their own logic. Then we have the transitionals. Now the transitionals, Amasaman, Adentan, you add Medina, because they don't really go deep for everybody. So Amasaman, Adentan, Medina, you can consider to be transitional constituencies. These are the 3. So you have strong NDC, strong MPP, coastal, and then the transitional. So that's the presidential summary for the 3 election cycles. So 2012 is very clear. 2016, a blue gash. 2020 is what is called the steady state of the region.
So within 12 years, the region has switched like 3 times.
Yes, please.
And in 2020, it did not do a complete switch, but it started a switch for parliamentary. But for presidential, I did a complete switch. It went to NDC for 2020.
In fact, for 2020, the regional Greater Accra region presidential parliamentary behaved the same. Central region is not like that. So for Greater Accra, generally, the number of seats the president wins is coterminous with the number of seats his parliamentarians win. In Central region, 2020, the president won almost all the seats except 4. His parliamentarians, they won only about 14 seats. So Central region is a different discussion we'll have probably after this.
So this is the outlook for Greater Accra presidential. You want to show us how that cancels out with parliamentary?
Yes, let's do a comparison for parliamentary as well for the region. So let's go and see how that works.
So this is Channel 1 television. This is the situation room. We're just helping you to make sense of the 2. So there's a presidential election, you do know that, and there's a parliamentary election. Now, when people vote for a presidential candidate, do they vote for the presidential candidate? That is the question that we are asking today on the situation room. Now, let's go back to the maps. We have shown you here that the Greater Accra region sort of has NPP in the west, NDC in the east, the middle, maybe for everybody, and the coast is generally again for the NDC. But we want to see from 2012 how the Greater Accra region has behaved. How did it behave on parliamentary levels? Ben, have you got your map ready?
Yes, please. So this is Greater Accra summary for the presidential situation.
You are starting from 2020?
No, it's the same thing. Okay. I mean, I noticed you don't want me to. I just wanted to. It's the same thing, so because it's a summary. It's a summary. So even though I'm showing 2020 totals. So this is a summary of the state of Greater Accra in the 3 elections for presidential. This is a summary of Greater Accra for the 3 elections for parliamentary.
Please explain it.
So this is telling you who won the presidential election and what percentage they won it for the 3 election cycles. So In 2012, NDC wins the Greater Accra 52.3% presidential. NPP gets 46.9% presidential. In that same year for parliamentary, NDC wins 20 seats, NPP wins 14. 2016 was a complete flip. This 53 for NDC in 2012 is 53 for NPP. This 46 for
But it's actually 52.
Sorry, 52, forgive me.
So it's a repetition.
Yes, so this 52.31 for NDC is 52.42 for NPP.
52, 52, 46, 46.
Exactly. And guess what? 20 becomes 21, 14 becomes 13. It's absolute. In fact, if you even want to be extreme, this is 52.4. This is 52.3.
Yeah.
So MPP is slightly higher.
Yeah.
And guess what? 21-20. So the region is very clear what it does. It's a very strange region. Then 2020, it flips back to NDC, but less so than 2012. So this NDC's 46 jumps to 50. And MPP's 52 drops to 48. And guess what? NDC reclaims their 20
seats.
And then MPP gets 14. And then, yes, MPP gets 14. So this is a general picture of the region. It's a very...
like a wave. So what does it teach us? In terms of numbers, hard numbers or solid numbers for Akufo-Addo is always been lower.
A couple of things it teaches us. So that generally, NDC starts from a higher point than MPP in the region. That's number one. Number two, national and local issues are very similar. Because if you take a region like Central, where Akufo-Addo swept the Central 2020 presidential, his parliamentarians didn't do that well. So you can say that in that region, presidential voters were voting on national issues and parliamentary voters were voting on local issues. So NDC took the parliamentary, but MPP took the presidential. But Greater Accra, people, and I think it's because the region is where everybody gets their government reality from. Mm-hmm. So what is happening with the government is reflected locally directly.
Yeah.
So that's why of the fourth swing, which is the only region where Parliament follows president directly and they change every 4 years. So it's a region where
it's in sync.
The feeling of the region is in sync with the mood around the government.
Bernard, so why don't you, based on the statistics, say Greater Accra region is an NDC region?
You can't say that. You can't say that because if you want to say a region belongs to a party, you want to look at a number of things. You want to look at how consistently deep their green or blue is. That's number one. You want to look at the gap. Now, the thing about MPP is that even though NDC starts from a slight advantage, the constituencies that MPP wins are very big constituencies. Dome Kwabenya is big. Trobu is big. Anyasotom is big. Weija-Gbawe is big. So, NDC may win more constituencies, but they are small.
Population.
Adan, Sege, Shai Osudoku, Ayawaso North, Ayawaso Central. Whereas MPP constituencies they win, of course, apart from Ashaiman,
which is big for NDC,
MPP wins the bigger constituencies. So that balance of power is there. Mm-hmm. Again, the difference in votes is less than 150,000. All right. If you want a stronghold of a region, it must be bigger. Having said that, this 2024 is one of the elections where Greater Accra's numbers are massive. Of the top 20 constituencies, 15 are in Greater Accra. Now, if a party takes a commanding lead in any constituency, if the region's mood tilts, say, to 54% for one party, that gap will give you a bigger margin now than it gave you in the past because there are more people there. But it really depends on the voter split.
So Greater Accra has not done skirt and blouse, but it has done in some constituencies. Do you want us to go into that next?
Yes.
We'll look at which constituencies?
So there's a couple of things we can do. Mm-hmm. You know, when we started this analysis in 2012, the western part of the region, the part close to Central region, was fairly NDC. But MPP managed to take over. So maybe we should start from the constituencies
on the west,
closer to the west, and work our way to the east.
Very well.
All right. Okay. So for that, I will start with the one that's most western, Bortianor. They call it BNA.
Bortianor-Ngleshie.
Yeah, BNA. And as you know, it used to be a single constituency called Weija-Gbawe in 2008, before it was split into three. So it's a good place to start from.
So now, it's currently blue.
Yes. Now, this is a very interesting situation with Bortianor. You have NDC presidential in 2012 and then MPP edging it. And the parliament has followed the same pattern. We had Bright Demoji as MP for NDC in 2012. Then you had Sly Tete move from Ningo Pram Pram to Bortianor. Now, Demoji is Avle. Bortianor, even though there are lots of Avles there, Bortianor is Greater Accra.
Yeah.
So Sly came in and managed to turn it blue, and he has maintained it for another electoral cycle. I argue that Sly is a very important person for MPP. Why? Even in this MPP primaries, he supported Alan. In fact, he was in this studio and he vowed that Alan was going to win.
Yeah.
In that debate he did with the MPP, what do you call it? I think it was Dennis Miracles.
Yeah.
But he's still very important in the MPP.
He was rewarded with the ministerial position.
The constituency is very important. It's a transitional constituency, and it's a constituency that is a coastal constituency. And you don't want a party being wiped out on the coast. When you go to the previous map, the only 3 coastal constituencies that NPP will boast of in years they don't do well is Bortianor, Weija, and then if you want to add Tema West. The rest MDC wins. So even though his margin is not big, he's a significant person to the MPP. So I'll give you something. If you ask me 5 constituencies to watch for 2024, where NDC wants to make a strong comeback, Bortianor is one of them. Because the loss of Bortianor hurts them. So they have gone to pick a candidate they believe will whittle down Sly's advantage. So keep an eye on Bortianor.
So it's a constituency NDC would not like to lose.
They were not happy to lose it in 2016.
And so they will fight hard
to
get it back.
That constituency will be very serious. It's one of the 5 to watch constituencies.
And you are saying that the candidate that was fielded by the MPP has a lot to do with the victory of the party.
Yes, but now what they are saying is, he came from Ningo to that side.
Yes.
And NDC has picked a local boy. So
it's a stranger.
That kind of situation is coming up again. Even though his guy is but he's from the other side.
Yeah.
So, and also he's been there for 2 electoral cycles. So it's going to be much tighter than it was in 2020.
I would love to see how well he did in his victory. Do you have that ready?
It's very similar to the.
Let me take a break. When I come back, I would like you to show me that and then tell us what other constituencies there are to watch. This is a Situation Room on Channel 1 Television. Umaru Sanda Amadu here with Bernard Avle.
Complete this rhyme. Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
How are you working? How?
Who's that?
Welcome to The Point of View.
Welcome to Face to Face on Channel 1 Television.
And hello, welcome to What the Papers Are Saying.
This be football made in Ghana. It be the only pidgin show where it day on your screen. Channel 1 TV.
Thank you so much.
So people are late. They have to catch up. City TV is now Channel 1 TV. You understand?
This is Channel 1 TV, telling your story, empowering change.
Yeah, welcome back. This is the Situation Room on Channel 1 Television. We're just trying to help you make sense of the Greater Accra region. So we're on Bortianor-Ngleshie from.
Yeah.
NPP went in there to harvest that seat.
Yes.
And you're saying that NDC is bitter or angered by that particular, and they would want to take it back.
Yeah.
How well did Sylvester Tete fare in
So
his victory? Or
he did fairly well. Don't forget, 2012, MPP won by only slightly. 50,000, 48, 50%, 48%.
For presidential.
And then, if I come to 2012 for parliamentary, it was a dead heat. Bright Demoji had 23,014. Ajite Labi had 22,826. It was 46.55, 46.17 in 2012. Very close. But look at what Slide did in 2016 first. So he went in 2016 and he gets 52%. Bright, there was an independent candidate who came in who had over 2,000 votes. So Bright's percentage reduced from
46
to 39. So you can say an independent candidate, because there were some issues in NDC.
Yeah.
And Sly came in with 52.
Yeah.
But in 20, so you can say Bright won, Sly won it well. Sorry, Habib Saad won it well, 52%.
So Sly came in 2020.
Yes, forgive me. So Habib Saad won it in 20, yes, with 52%. Because
2016, Sly was in Ningo Pram Pram.
Yes, so there was an independent candidate here. So his number reduced from...
He had an issue with the party.
Yes, so this was
fight.
Independent. Now in 2020, when Sly comes, he maintains that constituency for NPP. So it's still 53 now.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's no independent candidate problem. So now it's 46-53.
Akwaku was in one of the Okaikwe constituencies, wasn't he?
Alexander Akwaku.
Yes, he was in the Okaikwe
South, and then he moved next.
to that place. Yes.
So no independent candidate issues, but this is still good for MPP.
Okay.
All right. So it's now Alexander Akwaku is not necessarily from BNA.
Yes.
So now they've picked a gentleman from BNA to contest with Sly, hoping to close the gap or even take over.
So this is a 5,000 vote difference.
Yes.
Then there'll be a lot of work for the NDC to do then. So it's not as slim a win for Sly. It's a very
MPP has consolidated because for presidential as well, 52, 51, it's close, but it's consolidated with the candidate. So it's candidate sensitive.
Yeah.
Now, still on the western side, there's no issue with Domiabra.
So based on what you have seen, it looks very safe
Domiabra is no skirt and blouse, NDC presidential parliamentary. You can say the same for Weija. Although, what you need to say about Weija is that, maybe let's show you Weija briefly, because Weija, Tina Mensah faced a strong fight from the Obobia. Yes, but Obobia is not returning to contest that seat. So maybe let me go to Weija and then show you what's happening there. Because where I really want to go.
But are you suggesting Weija-Gbawe is a constituency NDC would have an eye on, and which MPP should be careful?
The other place NDC is, in my view, determined.
Weija is at the bottom.
NDC is determined to take is Amasaman.
Okay.
But I want to show you Weija to just make the point you were making. Then I'll come to Amasaman in the western side. So let me remove Bortianor. Give me a minute. All right. So where are we? So this is Weija. Comfortable MPP. 56, 61, 60. This is for president. It's a safe.
It's been MPP for a long time. Presidential.
Yes. the gap, even you can say, is opening.
Yeah.
Parliament as well.
In 2012.
Parliament, NDC had it in 2012. So let's actually go there. Okay, forgive me. This is, let me pick Weija properly. And I need to click on Weija-Gbawe.
All right, while you get that, okay,
there you are.
Okay, good.
So this is Weija-Gbawe.
Okay, it's not been an MPP NDC seat. NDC did not win it in 2012.
No, they did
not.
not.
That was Bortianor-Ngleshie.
Yes. So Tina Mensah, 58% to
40.
Ni Ayisen. This is 2012. All right.
Oh, Ni Ayisen. Okay.
2012, 58-40. Then you come to, let's do 2016. Tina Mensah, Obobia, 57-41. So,
and many people say Obobia was actually the best candidate for the NDC there.
Yeah. So we don't see. I don't think. Of course, they've changed her to. So this is 2012, 53-43.
Yeah.
Obobia 53-43. Then 2016, 57-41. So she's left, and 2020 somebody else came, and it's still 58-40. So MPP has changed to Jerry Ameshai, but this is a safe MPP generally. So you don't expect. Of course, it was an acrimonious primary, but you don't expect NDC to take part. The real issue for me is Amasaman.
So from Bortianor-Ngleshie, you want to look at Amasaman?
Because Ayawaso Otuom is also a similar situation.
Okay.
MPP does well there, and it's a big constituency for them.
Amasaman is a to watch.
So the second to watch is Amasaman. The first one was
Bortianor-Ngleshie.
Yes. So the second one is Amasaman. Amasaman because.
And these are constituencies you are saying MPP be on guard.
Not necessarily. I'm just saying that whoever wants to. Well, you could say that.
Yeah,
but
I think that's what it because based on how the issues are. MPP be on guard. It's your seat now, but be on guard. And
exactly.
NDC is threateningly looking at your seat. And Amasaman was once NDC.
It was one strong NDC, 60-38 in 2012. This is a better view. To 53, to 46, and now MPP is now won it presidentially only just.
From 60 to 53 and then 48.
Yeah. Now, let me go to the parliamentary because I need to click on Amasaman before it changes. So just pardon me here. I'll do that for you in a second.
It's in the middle of the summer. Your finger is too big.
I'll get it for you.
Okay.
I'll select it from here. So Amasaman is a constituency to watch for.
Well, Amasaman is no more rural.
It's become very urbanized. It's one of the constituencies with the most. Maybe let me reset it.
And it used to be an NDC constituency.
Yes.
And MPP taking over. So it used to be Chobu Amasaman.
Yes.
And now they've been split. When they got split, MPP was winning Chobu, and then NDC was winning Amasaman until 2020 when NDC lost Amasaman. And,
exactly.
And MPP had to then take both Chobu and Amasaman.
Exactly. So you have the history at your fingertips. Just give me a minute. So I have Amasaman here. And I'm starting from 2012. And
it's also a very populous constituency, isn't it?
There you go.
The numbers you have there.
So Amasaman was a strong constituency for the NDC. MPP has won it. Similar to Bortianor. NDC's eye is on it very seriously. In 2016, for Parliament as well, NDC had the seat. And then as the flip occurred, good. So this is 2012. Your good friend Clement Wilkinson,
who is the MCE now,
for 37. Emmanuel Ngleshie 51. So it was a pretty.
Is this not the Emmanuel Ngleshie who came to Ododo Diodio?
I'm not sure.
In the NDC primaries recently, he
was in
there. He was
as well.
sponsored, I think, by Nilante Vanderpoy, supported him.
So he was MP for Amasaman before.
Yes, and then left to Odododo. Nilante supported him and he lost.
So this is a healthy 7,000 margin in 2012. Okay. Now, what is going on for Mahama too is a healthy, and by the way, look at the difference. The difference in the parliamentary is smaller than the difference in the presidential.
Okay.
Because in the presidential, this is 12,000. 12,000 in 2012. And then 7,000 for the MP. Now, let's go to 2016. How 12,000 will shift to it's now 4,000.
So it's coming down.
So it's 4,000. So they removed how much?
From 12,000.
So a very good 8,000.
Is that 8,000.
All right. Let's do 2016 as well. So the signs were written on the wall.
For parliament.
Yes, for president. And then 2016 as well. Clement Wilkinson nearly took it. 48-49.
Look at the raw numbers, Bernard.
27,665.
Like less than 300.
27,993. So MPP realized he had a chance. And Clement Wilkinson had gone twice.
And it's interesting that he has been maintained. You know, many MCs were removed.
Yeah.
He's still,
because
there was a huge protest not to repeat him as MC.
Imagine, he had a 7,000 gap as MP. He closed it to 200.
Yeah.
His president had a 12,000 gap
deficit.
That based on his work,
yeah,
he reduced to a 4,000 deficit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what was interesting was when they switched him to an Akan, then they won it. So even though Clement Wilkinson did a lot of work, now let's go to 2020 to see how this changes. So now you come to 2020. What was a 12,000 to 4,000 gap is now a 2,000 plus for MPP.
So from 12,000,
from minus 12,000,
2,000,
minus 4,000 to plus
2,000.
So Akufo-Addo takes it in a year that NDC does better everywhere.
In Greater Accra,
so
especially.
Clearly, what they are doing, Amasaman is not following the national picture. Amasaman is on his own.
It's on a frolic.
And of course, Amasaman is one of the constituencies where you have most new voters in terms of registrations.
Yeah.
Urbanization is taking place there.
And development
now,
is bringing up.
Clement Wilkinson has essentially split the thing in
2016.
So he cooked it for the gentleman in 2020.
To come and chop.
Akwesi Owusu Efrifa Mensa. 3,000 margin.
Okay. So when NDC saw that Okanlaye was going to lose the seat for them, they chose a different person.
Sedem Kweku Apenyo.
And Sedem couldn't save them. So
Sedem couldn't save them because MPP switched to somebody who was more appealing.
And this man became a deputy minister. He became a deputy minister. He was appointed deputy minister, but he's not the candidate.
He's lost the primaries.
Yeah, so he's not the candidate.
Now, the reason NDC is keeping an eye on this is that, as I said, it's a big constituency.
Yeah.
Losing whatever happened there for them, they may think it's not just internal issues. The nature of the constituency is changing. It's very, very urbanized, and the migration is coming from the Akan areas, which is why this gentleman won.
So
but the truth is that because of the nature in which he also lost his primaries, NDC smells blood that we've maintained this guy. He has a healthy 54K. This guy's camp is on fire. So we could take it back in their view.
The MP did better than the president in Amasaman because the president, Akufo-Addo was plus 2,000.
Yeah.
The MPs was plus 3,000.
The key to Amasaman is to know that because the constituency changes so quickly, you can't just say it's one local issue. The nature of the constituency is changing. People are moving in. I mean, I remember in
There's Ajin Kotoku in Amasaman.
2013, I went to Sky to Ayikaindo Blo, or Kushibiade and those places. They were villages. If you go there today, I mean, we drove for many kilometers before we got to the Ashalaja Bridge.
Yeah.
When you go there today, all those roads, some of them are tarred.
Yeah.
There are mansions there.
Yeah.
People have moved with story building.
Yeah.
It's a completely new place. So it was a village in 2012. It's no longer a village.
When Atamils wanted to develop Accra, he set up the whole Ajin Kotoku area where we have the Yam people now, that the ones that the regional minister sent. That idea was when goods are being carted into Accra, let the big trucks stop in Ledzokuku.
Yes.
So he set up a secondary school,
Yes.
an ambulance bay,
a lot of things,
and a huge market.
Yes.
So that trucks were supposed to bring onions and
Yeah.
yam there, and then they will move it. So people then were like, oh, it's a big, and they have a rail line. Don't forget, there used to be a train from Accra to Amasaman. So people move from there to come to do their business in Tudu. So it is. You are very right. Amasaman is expanding, and both on the left and the right side. Pokwase, look at what's happening with the interchange now. Many people are just moving in there.
So the two that NDC is keeping an eye on, Bortianor-Ngleshie, Manfro,
Amasaman.
There's
the third one.
There are a couple more. Ayawaso West Wuogon. Then there's Medina and Adentan. We can do Ayawaso West Wuogon next. Ayawaso West Wuogon had 19,000 new voters, Sanda, or 16,000.
Okay.
So that I'm using the registration difference. So Ayawaso West Wuogon has become a different constituency based on the voter increase.
So you want to show me Ayawaso West Wuogon. Let's look at the vote pattern, the history over the period. And Ayawaso West Wuogon is a constituency that is called East Legon. It's called, what's the name of the town on the N1?
We have Ayawaso West Wuogon is East Legon.
Yes, so East Legon. I'm talking about the
Weija-Gbawe.
Yes.
And then Mimpasem.
I'm talking about on the N1, the Jowulu.
Jowulu.
So Jowulu. That's where it divides with the other Ayawasos. In fact, there are constituencies that have one name.
Yes.
I think when the AMA was very big, there used to be Ayawaso Sub-Metro.
Yes.
So there's Asheduketeke Sub-Metro, there's Ayawaso. Have you found your data?
So
while I'm doing my historical thing.
So,
Ayawaso West Wuogon.
Let me go. Just give me a minute.
A constituency that is currently held by the Honorable Lydia Sarah Malasan. She was a deputy whip in the House of Parliament on the NPP side. She's been made Minister for Water Resources and
Sanitation. So I'm also West Wuogon now.
Having taken over that seat from her late husband, the Honorable Ejaku. So what do you have for me there?
2012, it was one of the closest constituencies. So Kojo Chumba first tried Ayawaso West Wuogon before. Swerve, what's his name?
He was
Wuogon has also tried.
Yes.
So NDC has had some very interesting people try that concept because you see, because the university campus is there, NDC's view is that they need to use candidates who appeal to the youth. So Kojo Chumba, and then at the time,
Dakun.
And now, of course, also Selassie Brempong.
Yes.
The guy who had the whole controversy. So Kojo Chumba, Dakun, Delali Brempong, and now John Dumelo. All right. But MPP somehow wins the parliament. In fact, Elvis Ankara has even tried Ayawaso West Wuogon before. When I was in Lagos, 2004 or so. Now, Ayawaso West Wuogon was very tight
in 2012.
2012. MPP showed strength there in 2016. It's become much closer in 2020. But this is a very interesting sign of the history of the constituency.
Let me see. Show me how the MP did in that 2012. Was it also as close?
Very good question. So, let me go to 2012.
I think I have it down there. Down at the...
Let me show you the name of the MP so that you... So, yes. It was very close. So 31,807, 30,116. So I also was the margin was 1,691. Emmanuel Chemati Ejaku against Kwame Wuogon. So it was.
So 2012 was a year that NDC could have taken the seat if they could have taken it.
In fact, the debate was. I remember there was a day Metro TV did the debate at Commonwealth Hall with Wuogon and Ejaku. I think Paul Adomatre, massively attended by the students because the university is a huge place. Somehow Ejaku held it for the NPP. But you can see how close it was.
So, I mean, Wuogon even did better than John Mahama, didn't? Okay, no.
So that's a good question. It's actually very close.
I know your percentage, 4757, 4741.
Let me do 2012. Then let's compare oranges.
Okay, this is 2020. Okay.
Let's compare oranges with oranges. Forgive me. So this is 2012. What happened there?
2012. Your map became bigger all of a sudden.
Good. In 2012, 49.05. Mahama actually won.
So Mahama did better.
He actually won the constituency in
2012.
Yes. He had 49.8. Akufo-Addo had 49.05. 31,537, 31,023. But his Wuogon didn't. So basically, Wuogon mirrored Mahama because he won. Sorry, Jaku.
Mirrored Mahama.
Yes, he had 50.07, and this guy had 47.41.
And it appears since then, NDC hasn't been this close.
They've not been able to recover. They've changed, and the NPP has been consistent with their candidate. NDC has been changing.
So there was a by-election in that constituency 2019, was it not?
Yes,
and
so in 2016, this is 2012, right? So let's go to 2016 for parliamentary. 2016, who did they field?
Same as Jaku.
No, this is Delali Kwesi Brempong.
Okay, me
and the Jaku maintains. Now he opens the gap. 57.
And Delali brings it down to 10,000.
57 to 39. And then for presidential as well, 2016 is a huge, look at that, 56-42.
Oh.
Big gap open. But then 2020, NDC recovers.
But something really happened in 2012 for NDC in that constituency, because now it looks like they are back. NPP is back to winning ways. Let's see 2020.
For president, let me do parliamentary first. So 2020, of course.
Because the margin now is 10,000 for NPP. The margin has dropped to 2,000.
So don't forget that the by-election had Lydia coming after the husband died, and then Delali.
Yeah.
But Delali didn't pick up. So then John Dumelo comes in 2020 and brings back the pre-2016 issue. So the reason I'm saying this is a consensus watch is that somehow NDC missed the mark in 2016 and MPP consolidated. With the departure of Ejaku, his widow also strengthened the grip, but John Dumelo has really closed the gap.
He has.
And when you come to presidential as well.
Compare that to presidential. Let's see how she fared against her boss Akufo-Addo.
Good point. So very similar numbers. 51.6, 51.3.
So
47.5, 48. So John Dumelo actually did better than Mahama in Ayawaso West Wuogon.
Which means that she also did better than Akufo-Addo.
She did slightly less. 51.3. Akufo-Addo had 51.6.
Okay. All
so,
right. Okay.
So NDC maintaining John Dumelo makes sense. And because he's the best since Iwadaku for them.
It's true.
He's the best since Iwadaku for them. And the gap is very similar to the 2012 gap, which is why they are keeping an eye. And the other reason is that in 2020, we don't know what happened. I think it was COVID. Because when you look at the consensus that gained voters, Ayawaso has almost 16,000 new. And the only explanation is that students registered on campus. Now the question is, between Lydia and John, and mind you, they both use their middle names, Seiram, Seto. Between the Lydia and...
Wait, they are both Evers.
Yes. Between Lydia and you see, the other reason why Lydia is strong for MPP, because there are a lot of Ewe communities there. So a lot of the settler communities in and around Abelenkwe will look at this type of thing. You follow me?
An Ewe having a Muslim surname versus an Ewe...
An actor. So the question for this consensus is that when the students return, the 19,000 or so students, will they go for Seiram or they'll go for
John? That's a question we're going to try and... Well, we can't answer that. Or they'll answer that on December 7th. This is Situation Room on Channel 1 TV. We'll come back and look at... I think we have to look at constituencies that MPP is also watching, right? We have to
yes.
So when we come back, we'll look at that. We've shown you 3 constituencies now that NDC is targeting, looking at it hawkishly. Which ones are the MPP also looking at? Please stay with us.
In the realm of national discourse, where every question demands an answer, one show stands out: Face to Face. Face to Face cuts through the noise and goes straight to the heart of the matter as your host confronts personalities in politics, governance, society, and business on the topical issues facing the country.
If you said to me that you made £1 million out of scraps in the United Kingdom at age 19, that will raise eyebrows, and I ought to ask you how you made it.
Umaru, first of all, if anybody wants to find out how I acquired my wealth before even 21, it's on the internet. You know, I have built hotels. I've done all of that. It's all there. It's bringing me income. It's yielding. I'm creating employment.
You introduced free SHS in 2017, and for 7 years, you are still having the same problem.
No,
it means you have
that's
not
false.
That's very accurate.
No, that's false.
Schools still have challenges with boarding house, dining hall,
Umaru,
classrooms.
I like context.
Yes.
I like debate, but I like factual debate.
Yes.
It's false. And I'll tell you what. Dr. Bawumia has humbly acknowledged what our challenges or our shortfalls have been as a government. He has outlined what the successes have also been. And he is giving cogent, clear vision points for each of the sectors.
It's the worst, government we've ever had to combat corruption.
Join Umaru Sanda Amadu every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on Face to Face as he explores the issues that shape our nation. Only on Channel 1 TV.
You're welcome back. We are looking at constituencies that the MPP has, which constituencies the MPP ought to be careful, or MPP beware. But Bernard, we are going to drop in Ledzokuku, which is currently an NDC seat.
Yes.
Why?
Well, Ledzokuku is one of the constituencies where I actually moderated a debate for NDC when they were doing one of their parliamentary primaries. It's very difficult for that constituency to maintain an MP. They are very moody when it comes to MPs. Number two, the presidential numbers are very close. And number three, the MPP candidate is making a comeback, and he's a minister for health. So it's a constituency that MPP has an eye on. And when Philip Nilate, when our team, what's the name? Philip.
Which of the shows are you talking about?
Nilate, Philip.
Nilate.
He went to do
constituency forum.
Yes, he went to Ledzokuku. So we listened to what they said. So it's a constituency to watch. Now let's look at a brief history. 2012, very comfortable. Mahama 53,000, Nanado 40,000. All right, so that's 2012. So again, very comfortable for NDC. On the parliamentary side as well, Benita Sena Okitidua beat Gladys Nolea-Shite, who used to be a deputy health minister. Sena Okitidua, very healthy victory. Okay, but somehow in 2016,
Nolea-Shite was the MP.
Yes, she was a sitting MP from 2008.
Yeah.
So Okitidua defeated her, and defeated her well. Just like Muhammad defeated Akufo-Addo well. Now look at 2016. 2016, what was a comfortable NDC constituency, all of a sudden, look at that. Akufo-Addo 49.2, John Mahama 49.7. Just a chimpe.
For 2016.
Right. So even though Mahama won it, it's a chimpe constituency. Yeah. All right. Then you come to 2016 for Parliament as well, and what do we see? Bernard Okoboy defeats Okitidua, but only just. So Okoboy does better than his president. 50.48, 49.28. Gap 2,167. After Akufo-Addo and Mahama, you can't even count. It's so close.
Yeah,
it was a split.
Yeah.
So Okoboy wins it, but only just. So what does NDC do? They change Okitidua and bring Ayiku in 2020. You know.
Here comes to take over.
And Ayiku wins it. He just flips it by the same margin, 1,008, just like 1,007. What happens to the president? Mahama actually wins it. Right? 53. So this has gone back to pre-2016. So 53. So it tells you that the people, they actually can be default NDC. 2016 was an unusual year because this 53-45 is strong. But the parliamentary is very close.
So I think the way Ledzokuku behaves, so even though you can say it's maybe more NDC, but they've also been MP. So Gladys Nolea-Shite has won for MPP before, but before then there was the former GBC man.
Yes, Nino Tedua. Who also won in 2008.
With
Nolea-Shite was 2004.
Yes.
So this is it. Edi Akita,
yeah.
Nolea-Shite, Nino Tedua, Okitidua, Okoboy, Ayiku. So what I'm saying is that this constituency, it's very sensitive to changes in candidature. President-wise, it swung back to NDC. This is 8%. It's big.
That's on a different level.
This, what I'm trying to say is that for a president to get 45%, but his candidate is getting 48%.
Maybe you can say that Ledzokuku or Teshi is maybe mostly NDC, but when it comes to parliamentary, they localize it and they deal with the person.
So what I'm trying to say is that their default presidential position may be NDC, but they are very sensitive on who you put on the ticket.
Put on the ticket for
so
parliamentary.
If they don't like the MP or the MP, it's annoying them. And I went there. So basically, they can like your president, but I say you the candidate don't like you. Right now, so what we are sensing is that there are two different races going on in Ledzokuku. There's a presidential race going on.
They treat them differently.
And there's a parliamentary race going on. Now, you will be, it may do skirt and blouse. It's possible.
So there's a Sankofa campaign by Okoboy.
Yes.
Ayiku trying to retain the seat for the NDC. It will be an interesting thing to look out for.
And when you go to the constituency, Okoboy is very visible.
He was visible in 2020 and he still lost.
Yes.
Now he was visible in the extent that he was having Monday clinicals at the.
But Sandra, this is what I'm trying to show you. Mahama had 59,000 votes.
Yes.
Akufo-Addo had 50,000 votes.
Yes.
That's 9,000
difference.
Parliament, he had only 1,000 votes.
Difference.
So he had 8,000 more votes than it. That's what I'm trying to say. That this is it's a different ballgame because if a man, Mahama's 9,000 plus, he has just 1,000 or 1,000 something each.
So Ayiku wins, but it was not a comfortable.
So what I'm trying to say is that this parliamentary race should be seen differently from the presidential race, because it's one of the biggest gaps Akufo-Addo has in deficit to a candidate that I've seen in the region.
Before we go, I want you to bring in Madina and Adentan.
I can do Adentan quickly.
Okay, then let's do Adentan.
I can do Adentan quickly.
Now, Adentan is also one constituency that seldom repeats their MP. Well,
yes.
An MP would either lose at the primaries or lose in the main elections. I mean, Honorable Hammond at the time, Nia Shimo of the NDC, Alboabina Samoa of the MPP. All of these were serving one term. Mohammed Ramadan of the NDC in his first term now. And he is lucky he's been retained in the NDC primaries. But would Nakoshi, not Nakoshi.
So let's do Adentan quickly.
People's Cozy. Akosi Amenu be a big threat to him. So we are looking at Adentan.
Yes.
I think it's only
very close
who was repeated.
Adentan is a very interesting constituency. Skirt and blouse. No, not skirt and blouse. Very Greater Accra. So 2012, NDC wins 53-45. 2016, MPP wins 51-47. So the reason NDC is a bit stronger is that when NDC wins, they win big. 53-45. When MPP wins, 51-47 in Adentan. When NDC takes it back, 53-45. So basically 2020, they did what they did in 2012.
Repeated.
All right. Parliament as well. You have, where's my Adentan? Yes. Frances ACM, 2012, 45-52. Ashimo. All right, he took over from...
Boabian Samoa. No, Boabian Samoa took over from him.
No, I'm talking about the MDC.
Adentan.
You interviewed him recently.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
It will come.
Yeah, something.
No, it will come.
I forget his name. Now, this is the key point I'm making here. Adentan, parliamentary-wise, NDC's parliamentarian... Kojo Edu-Asare, very good. So this is 2012. Ashimo, NDC changed Edu-Asare to Ashimo because this is what happens in Adentan. People get tired of their MP easily. So they had Opare Hammond was MP in 2004.
He did twice.
Yes, in 2000. Then 2008, Edu-Asare wins for NDC. Yeah. Then NDC changes him to Ashimo. Yeah. To retain the seat, because it was viewed that if they didn't change the seat, they may have done skirt and blouse. Yeah. All right. So Frances ACM comes in strongly, but Ashimo comes to save the day for NDC. Then they repeat in 2016. Ashimo is defeated by Ramadan, but Boabian Samoa takes over.
So Boabian Samoa became MP.
Yes, and president as well.
Yeah.
what happens? Akufo-Addo wins it, 51-47, 50-48. So let's do 2020. 2020 is where the interesting thing is. So Ramadan does better than his president. 2020, what do we have? So Ramadan gets 63,000, Muhammad gets 60,000. So Ramadan, again, similar to Ledzokuku, but this time he's the incumbent.
Yeah.
So he's given Yababi a 14,000 gap. So MPP has brought Kozimenu to see if that can.
Okay. Very well, Bernard. We have to end today's edition of the Situation Room. We're very Greater Accra region heavy. We took some constituencies and dealt with them for you. Stay with us again tomorrow because we may bring something else, either from Greater Accra region or may even go to Central region. Stay with us.